Welcome back, fashion enthusiasts. Today we have a special guest with us. He's been making waves in the broad modeling scene, straight from London. You hear the accent? Straight from London. Standing at 6'3", please welcome the man that's graced the covers of GQ, Dolce & Gabbana, work for... Bro, he don't need an introduction. Right. James Corbin, please. Welcome to our scene.
Thank you for your time.
Welcome. Thank you for having me. First of all, I'm grateful to be here.
Yeah, man. How's New York been so far, though?
It's been good. It's been busy.
Busy?
It's been busy. Yeah.
That's good to hear.
A lot of busy people, but it's good.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying it here.
So you flew in on Friday night?
I flew in on Friday night. Yeah.
New York Fashion Week things.
New York Fashion Week. My first New York Fashion Week, actually.
Oh,
Yeah?
really?
Yeah, I've never been to New York for Fashion Week.
Okay.
Word.
First time in New York was only a couple months ago.
Yeah, that was the first time.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Man.
Working.
Yeah, trying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So look, this segment is all
It's
about
more
this
about,
guy.
It's more about your experience.
Yeah.
Man. Just enlighten us on your experience. You know, you're based in the UK.
I'd love to compare and contrast though.
Yeah,
For sure.
man.
I think that'd
That's
be
very interesting.
absolutely. And I do just
Go ahead, dude.
Yeah. I just want to let the audience know, first time meeting this guy right here. I think I've been following you for like 2 to 3 years, maybe a
Pretty
little.
much all of the modeling careers I've been following most of you, yeah.
When did you first get signed, get on the scene, get in the industry?
This was in late 2020.
Okay.
Right after the lockdown.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I got in May 2020, and I think when I went over to London, and we probably just connected somehow. But I never met you though.
Yeah.
Super dope, bro.
Yeah.
You've done a lot of great things, bro.
How was you introduced to the industry, man?
So what had happened was I finished university, let's call it college, right? So I finished university and it was in the middle of lockdown. Crazy situation, the pandemic.
Yeah.
And we got some time to sit home and chill over in the UK. I don't know if it was the same over there. You couldn't go to work unless you were an essential worker.
Yeah.
That kind of deal. So you just had time to think and time to take on other opportunities. I thought I was going to be a TV producer. Solely, because that's what I studied in uni. And that's what I had planned. And then I got this DM from this photographer's assistant. And I thought it was because they wanted like help in production. I was like, I've never done fashion before. And they were like, oh yes, a story for Vogue Italia. So I didn't think anything of it. It was like, as I was getting there, I realized that the call sheet said that I was a model. I was like, I don't know what's going on. It was a very crazy experience for me. I didn't really see myself in that light at all. And I've said like even on different platforms, I've said, even to the photographer, like, I'm not meant to be here. Like on the set, I was like, I got scared. And yeah, I kind of just tried.
Yeah.
And it happened and I didn't tell anyone. And then it kind of came out one day and yeah, from there, reached out to agents and got myself represented and it was on go from there.
On go from there.
Wow. Okay.
Pretty awesome. So from that first experience, of course, what would you say is some of the changes that you've seen within yourself in front of the camera? I would imagine your first time was probably a little bit nervous, or were you confident? How did you feel versus now when you get in front of camera?
I think it was newfound confidence because I was the person that was taking pictures of people. I was the person, even from a career standpoint, I was worried about how other people look in front of the camera. So I was really confused having to do it myself. But I feel like I had to grow the confidence as I went along. At first, it felt like I was faking it. And then it became my reality, and I started to talk about it more and was a bit more transparent. Even I saw like Instagram family and just like I'm not that confident, and people like feed you and
for sure. So who'd you first get signed with when you first got in?
So I first signed with an agency called Supermodel Management. That's SUPA.
Yeah.
I met this agent. His name was Charlie. So at the time, I was like, when something drops and you just get pumped and whatnot. And I was like calling agencies. I was just looking at the biggest agencies in the UK. I was calling agencies, and at the time, because it was like with lockdown, I was able to get through to directors and like people who was directly. I was just like a very big ambitious speech. I was like, you got no one like me on your books. The plus size models isn't breaking it. I want to do high fashion. yeah, don't feel forced because I only want those who believe in me. I was just talking so hard.
Bruh.
That's dope.
I didn't believe that at the time, but I was just talking, you know.
That's a big talk.
And, yeah,
and I love that, bro.
Yeah.
Love
that's what I said. I was like, I only want those because I know it doesn't exist. So I only want those who
You
want
wrote this speech down to practice it?
No, it was coming out.
Naturally. Gotcha.
No, it was just like, I want to try this. Like, you know when something feels so good? I've never like stepped in front of the camera in that way. And it just felt literally like home. Like it felt like something that I didn't know that I could do.
Yeah.
I was like, I need to do more. I want to do more. Why isn't there more? Why can't I look and see a whole, like, why is this the first? Why is this, you know, why do we need the first gen? It doesn't make sense. So yeah, Charlie got it. Yeah, his response to the email.
Charlie got it.
Got it. He was like,
Hey, I'm sorry. Can you say that one more time?
Charlie got it.
Charlie.
The accent thing. Okay.
Well,
Charlie got it. Charlie got it.
Love that.
What's been your traveling experience between the UK and other European like fashion hubs, like different locations?
So of course, you know, in Europe, there's like a lot of these like fashion houses and whatnot, and so from Milan, Germany, Berlin, and you know, France, Paris, I've managed to actually work in all those cities.
Wow.
But it's not where it should be. And I've got to be honest here. It's not where it should be. Like, I feel as we all know, and as you guys have spoken on this podcast before, because I've seen episodes, it's like there's movement, then it will pause, then it will stop. And then it's like, even within agencies, it's like, there was a point where lots of big and tall models were being, you know, scouted. And so, but now people are getting, I don't know if you've noticed, but people are being dropped. You know?
Yeah.
And so because the work has diminished, you know, like if you look at runways, it's been going backwards.
So you would say this is a global thing?
This is a global thing.
Okay.
Absolutely. I do believe in certain, you know, cities, there's a lot more movement. And you can only really see the movement when you look at the women's wear side of things and not the men's wear, because we are completely behind.
Yeah.
But it's going backwards and it's not good.
Yeah.
No.
What was your first gig when you got in the industry?
So the Vogue Italia was the first ever gig.
That's crazy.
That was the first ever gig.
Yeah, the Vogue.
That is huge.
And
I didn't really realize the sort of part, because I thought, you know, in my head,
Vogue.
it was really, really interesting, because from there it was like there was like a lot of like pressure to follow a route that doesn't exist, and it's hard. These big fashion houses, the aim is to like crack it open, the door open, but it doesn't exist. So it's talking about, it's like, imagine trying to convince a brand that's, you know, been there before you're born, that they should change their beauty standards.
Right.
And there's so much from social class to what they see as beautiful. Like, if we really get into it, even like people of color who naturally, the way that they are built, they are having to size up 2-3 sizes. There's a problem already there, even before we even get into, you know, size inclusivity and representation, like even the way things are made. Like, and then I talk to like photographers, designers, you know, who are in, you know, in a place where they can pull outfits or be offered things. They don't even take things because it never fits them. Right. And they aren't even, you know, of a bigger size anywhere near how big I am. So it was like starting those conversations behind the scenes and like seeing why are things the way they are. And so yeah, it's interesting.
Okay.
Well, and just a follow-up question. What do you think your social media presence has had a profound impact on your career thus far?
And let me add, since we're bringing socials up, talk about where your socials was at before you got in the industry and where you're at right now with it.
Cool. So I think people in the UK, I had like a little audience, but that was like more because I had a YouTube channel. I started as a YouTuber. And so I was used to being like very like using like social media as like my vlogging platform, like where I can just voice how I feel. And it didn't really change when I started modeling and a new crowd comes in. And I think that kind of became, back to your question, that kind of became how my social media got so involved in how I model. Because I'd share my experiences. I'd share experiences, like how set was and how a change was made. Because sometimes people only see the image, they see the final product, they see you've done this campaign, they see you either walk the show or whatever, but they don't know about how much of a big deal it is because of the change that's happened behind the scenes. The way that, the change to the way even a fitting went, the way that changing the language spoken, even the way that agents deal with different models with different things, So that kind of just became my thing. And of course, it's kind of walked in because we're now in that day and age where social media plays a big part, even with the modeling with the campaigns for brands. They want to do like a collab post nowadays. They want to do, they no longer want to only market with just billboards, and so social media plays a big part. So I've learned that I've had to adapt that. I didn't at first think I'd want my social media to have anything to do with my modeling work, but then it kind of just happened.
Gotcha.
Love that.
Gotcha, man. Okay.
I know this segment is aimed at Mr. James Corbin, but I do want us to. I want to start with James on this, but us all answer this one. At least I'll speak for myself. I know you and I, obviously, we're both big and tall models, which is niche in itself. But even then, we're still in like completely different worlds. So, describe your world for us, in the audience and all that. Like, what does it feel like, to be you? Do you feel like you've obviously you've done a lot, but do you feel like, there's just so much more for you and things like that? Just describe what it.
Wait, what do you mean by in different worlds? Because I want to know your point of view before I answer.
My apologies. Maybe I'll use realm. Let's go with realm. Like we do different like jobs and things like that. Stuff like that. And so like, just what is that like for you? And how do you get treated and things like that? How often do you work? Just your day to day and things like that.
So honestly, I think it's interesting because I think the strategy, like the team that I was with at the time, because I'm no longer with Super actually at the moment. The strategy was that we kind of push to only do, things that are high fashion or campaigns and so, but as a big and tall model, I feel in terms of where you earn, where you make a living is where you do the commercial work. And I think that's kind of where there's less work. There's less work on this side of things. When, for example, a Vogue magazine, an editorial, you're not going to be paid really and truly because the payment is unless it's like a brand sort of collaboration story, people aren't paid. It's more of a marking point, value, added value in a way.
Exposure.
Exactly, and creatively amazing. That's when you really get, because when a brand already has their own, specifics, where as a photographer can really push and it inspires brands to do their campaigns. So that's why we have the editorials, that's why I love them. But there's not, that's not what you get paid. And on that other side, the way it materializes is it ups the value, meaning you can do more jobs.
Right.
But as a plus size model, there's not more jobs if the brands aren't making the sizes.
Right.
And if they don't intend to make the sizes. So that's where we quickly realized work isn't going to come as often. So it became a lot of like campaigning work on my side to even just have conversations,
Gotcha.
And it's hard because we need to make money to live. We need to make money to even maintain, to appear at events, do these different things. We need to be able to do that. I remember at the start it was a bit tough, like mentally, because even like, for example, I could be invited to a brand's event and they will be like, come to the fitting, and you're just thinking, you're grateful, you're excited. I had to learn to mentally prepare myself to expect nothing to be there for me. And that was after many experiences, because you think, you're inviting me because you have something for me to wear.
Right.
They will hand you like a large top and say, surely that fits. We're like, whoa. So I had to quickly realize that it's a lot more. I have to have conversations in advance. Even my agents had to learn, like we had to really learn together Like there's so many things we have to ask in advance than they would do with a standard size quote unquote model, and that's something that all agencies I think should do in general.
Can you give us an example of what you mean?
Because you may be like the first of your, I don't know if you can say first of your kind to walk into a space like that. You got to advocate more than the.
Oh, it was a lot. Like, I was thinking about it. It was a lot. So even just down to the fact, I was thinking, I didn't think I'd go into a room and see that, you know, first of all, I could be one of a few that is even of color, let alone of a bigger size.
Right.
So it just feels like you stand out, and I feel like there's a pressure. Like I want to look good. I want to represent myself well, and to give you an example, I think there was a case where really, you know, high fashion brand, you know, I was really excited. They said, come to the showroom, we're doing a fitting, you know, talent, we'd love you to be there. I go there and they look at the stuff, they go, oh, we didn't quite, I was like, it's a fitting, so it's like, what would, I don't get it.
Yeah.
I ended up leaving with a hat. I was meant to be fully dressed for that event. I ended up leaving with a hat and a bag.
Wow. And how did you take that mentally after that experience?
That was my first time doing something like that.
Gotcha.
So I really was so excited and, you know, ready to vlog everything. I put the camera down. Like it was, I was, you know, when you're shocked, like gutted. I was like,
it's just completely. Would you say that experience kind of made you like kind of stop having expectations and things like that?
It made me not even the expectations, but it was more, oh, I'm gonna have to fight for this. Like it's not gonna be a smooth sailing. It's not gonna be necessarily a standard model experience. Everything, I'm gonna feel it.
And how did those conversations go when you intentionally advocated for yourself, like with your agencies? Like, I want to be represented this way to this type of brand I want to go through. I don't want to.
They were really supportive. I won't lie to you. They were really supportive. And like I said, they were learning as we go along. They were like, that was horrible. Like, you know, and even just someone affirming the way you feel and let you know the way you feel is correct.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you feel like you should just be quiet and be grateful that you're in the space. So just to have, at the time, an agent that understood that and would, you know, go back and give feedback to the brands was so important. And then for the next opportunity, it's already asking a series of questions that are necessary before making someone, you know, go into that sort of environment. Exactly. And that came even for, you know, campaign fittings. And so again, they ask for the sizes, but it's like they look at it as a little briefing and deal with it in person. I'm like, we just want to reiterate, these are the measurements and sizes. Could we check that the garments that we're fitting James in is going to be able to fit these? You know, to save time. That just little things like that makes a big difference. And as well, it makes a brand realize we think we're inclusive, but we're not as well. Like realizations, home truths. And so, like it's not easy. And even when I start to speak to even celebrities that have a bigger size, to see how much their confidence has been knocked shocks me.
Wow.
It's like you have to be a superstar and then get custom fits. But what does custom fits really mean for industry and for consumers? That doesn't move things forward. Because it only exists in your size and that one piece and that's it. And does that mean I have to work so hard to be recognized as a talent then to finally have clothes to wear? That doesn't make sense, you know, and that's not what I stand for, you know? So it's been difficult. It's been difficult, but I've found ways of having the conversations in a way where I can come on board and give almost like consultancy, and that's kind of the line I've been stepping into now. Consulting brands. How do we really do diversity properly? Sorry. How do we have longevity after that? Like, what happens after I leave? You know, where's the role models after me? You know. These are the models that can do the job, you know?
And since you stepped in that consulting space, have you seen any progress?
Well, it's a work in progress.
It's a work in progress.
We just have to look at the runway pictures to see the results. And you know, even the fact I'm here, you know, like things are moving. Don't get it twisted. Things are moving, but I don't understand why it's going backwards.
Right.
We touched upon that last episode about like the missing representation of our size, especially in New York Fashion Week. It's taking place still right now, so we can possibly see something You never know. But why do you think we're moving back as far as not having that big presence on the runway specifically?
I'd like to hear Ali speak on that as well too. Both of them.
You have thoughts, Corbin? You have any thoughts on that?
In New York? Yeah, because you said it was New York Fashion Week.
The way I look at it, I feel like
I've not been invited down. So
It's your first one.
It's not even invited. There's not been work to be down there. So I'd love to know US point of view.
My point of view, I feel like the whole push that we had for inclusivity was just probably not authentic. I think it was just that moment that everybody had where it was a fad for a moment and everybody wanted to be on the political correct side about acceptance, and everybody was seeing each other and visibility and seeing bodies and making sure everybody felt and were truly in the moment being seen. But at the core of everything, I think the actual people who were the forefront, or the people who made the decisions, didn't truly believe in certain things like inclusivity in its true form. And what is truly inclusivity, right? If you're making clothes for people. We're all people essentially, right? So like the fact that we even have to have a conversation on inclusivity just kind of makes it kind of feel like, is it a misimpression? Right, exactly. Like, it's clothes for people. At the end of the day, don't get me wrong, you can choose who you want to dress, and I get if a line wants to exclusively dress a certain type of aesthetic of a person, which is cool. But at the end of the day, you're closing yourself off. Two, bigger people do like designer. We do like well-made clothes as well too. And we come in all shapes and sizes. It's not even just about bigger too. Like, there's people who are petite, there's people who are tall, there's people in all realms. So I feel like honestly the shift that we're seeing, where we're going back and regressing, is just a show of whether or not it was inauthentic, in my opinion.
So you're saying it was more like a trend for the time?
It was a trend for the time. It was cool, especially now. I mean, like, you know, being fit and being hot was always a thing, right? But now, especially with the scene, with everybody, essentially the celebrities who were on the bigger side, all of a sudden becoming quite small now, especially with the aid of the medications now. It makes it easier to kind of like be like, all right, let's be real now. Skinny is in. You know, you've never been in, actually. You needed to, you know, it is what it is.
Gotcha.
What do you think?
Man.
I'll let you.
No, I asked the question. You go ahead.
Right. I don't know, like, a lot of times, just even listening to you, for me, like, all I can really just do is laugh these days, because, like, you know, Corbin was just explaining. It's tough for him. Like, it sounds tough for him. Like, he's done some really great things we all inspired to do, and things like that. But it still sounds like he's had to fight,
jump up some hurdles,
like
too.
all of that, you know. So, but I'll say, like, I know the difference between him and I sounds like representation, which is something we talk about a lot, and sounds like he's had some good people behind him that he's able to communicate with. As far as my world, I'm not even there. There's not really any back and forth with my agent like that, or I could say maybe like on the job, like they're going to make sure I'm good, make sure I, you know, like
in between though.
Yeah, the in between, you know, the vision. Like you said Charlie got it. Like, you know, so like when you got in, you said Charlie got it. I can't really say that for my people. Although I appreciate them, you know, let me say that.
Mad
like,
love.
it's cool, mad love.
Engagement between your agent and yourself is very important for them to understand what your vision, what your goals is. And I think that's another factor that was missing. Like you said, that's a very big point.
Do you guys think for our size, would it benefit us to have multiple agencies we're signed with for more potential work to come? Of course, it makes sense, but I'm just saying for our size specifically,
they have to get it though.
Yeah.
I really think because sometimes, you know, you can your agency can place you in countries and whatnot, but if you don't sit down with that agent, literally sit down with that agent and feel the energy that they want inclusivity is a waste of time.
For sure.
It's like I prefer to be only signed to one agency, or even literally have no agencies, than have an agency representing me that doesn't believe in even inclusivity. They just want to see, oh, it's going well. This is no, because it's not going to work. We're in a place where every moment counts. Every part of the chain has to be as strong as the other, you know, or you're wasting time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I could say for myself, I could go today and ask any person that is part of representing me in the industry, and ask them, what are my goals, what are my visions, and I promise you, they're not gonna know. Have absolutely no clue. They can maybe give me some fabricated email or whatever, but they really have absolutely no clue. And at the end of the day, what's the point? What's really the point? You know, like.
I got a question. Do you guys go in for meetings with your agents at all?
I do. Every 6 months, which is still crazy.
Okay, that's it. Okay.
Yeah, every 6 months I do go in, take new digitals, meet with both of my agents, and just tell them where I'm at mentally. But with me, I think there's no follow-up in between those 6 months. Like, okay, I have a goal to walk for Fashion Week. What's the update? Do you know any brands that are willing to, accept me for casting? Like that in between of I have this goal, and then them coming back saying, okay, we've done this to help you, try and push you towards this goal. That part is missing from my experience.
I think a lot of times we've had this discussion already. We can go to our agents and they kind of might shut it down, or not even, it won't be something that's ongoing, or they're doing everything they can to help. But yeah, no, as far as meetings, not really any meetings and things like that. I could set up a meeting anytime I want, for sure. But as far as I know there's always the mood board, vision board, all these things. As far as whatever they're doing behind the scenes and their processes to make sure their models are moving forward in a positive way, building off the day before, it never gets to, it's Max's turn, put the attention there, or I can't really speak for them, but it's never that. We're gonna take time to really work on this guy, have a conversation with him, see if anything has changed, check-ins, things like that. Never.
You know what is thought though? There's no development. You know how for main board, models get signed and then there's a development stage. There's no development stage for Big and Tall. Have you guys noticed that?
Yeah.
There isn't.
Yeah.
You're thrown into it. You're supposed to know what you're doing.
And whatever brands take liking of you, you just go with that. There's no development stage of you actually learning your rates, learning what type of brands may like you, learning your look you want to go for.
But do you think that kind of reverse psychology on us now? Because at this point, it's almost as if we're having a conversation, and even the conversation feels a little solemn, and I'm like, what the heck? Because I like what I do. But the conversation's feeling solemn, we all kind of feeling we're not getting enough, blah, blah, blah. Should that drive us to be more attentive, to drive that attention to those agencies and agents, and be more present and actually force those conversations now? Because now that we see that they're not doing it, we should be the ones that's pushing it more. So that way they be like, okay, maybe they want this. This is what they want. We need to do more. So because at the end of the day, we are, as much as we are the, I don't want to say employee, but they technically work for us. They find work for us, and we give them money. But so it's a two-way street.
I've had pushback from that. I'm not going to name what agency, right? But I've had pushback of me reaching out to other agencies or specific brands that I've had relationships with before, and I'll have an agent reach out back to me and say, "That's not how things go. Things go through us." Kind of stopping my pursuit or my hunger of reaching out on my own or doing things on my own.
You're reaching directly to the brands and the people in the brands.
But these are relationships I've already made. It's not like I'm just reaching out to a stranger or whatever. But
so I think what Ali's saying is going to those agents and then suggesting okay, we worked with this brand before. Should we not push for another campaign? Should we not push to do e-com for them as well? Seeing as the relationship's so good. Like sometimes, believe it or not, we need to place ideas and the seeds in their heads. Because I feel the expectation is at the bottom when it comes to plus size models. Because at the end of the day, the industry runs with money, and what makes money is where people draw attention. So it seems a lot of the brain power, the thinking side of things is out the window, and it's literally, if an email comes in the inbox and says we want him, they're not going to bother doing. That's how it feels. That's how it feels in a lot of the cases, and I've had to literally. That's how I've had to do things. Come up with strategy, and literally, it will annoy agents. It will. You will get pushback, but at the end of the day, do we all want to make money? Like, and because the agent makes money when you make money as well, you know. And yeah, it's frustrating. Yeah, that shouldn't be the way it is.
But it is what it is.
But that's part of the advocacy and what happens to be trailblazers.
Yeah.
Because we are trailblazers.
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys get messages from big and tall guys, women, people on Instagram, so proud of you, so inspired, wants to do what you do. You're in a place where you're creating a path for those up behind you. So I feel, as much as yes, you're gonna have moments where you need to tap out mentally, because it's frustrating to have to do so much more than what you're paid for. It's a job, right? And the amount of like theory, what's it called, exam prep, I call it, you know, to, you know, just potentially even get a chance to pass an exam. That's how it feels. But yeah, like, it's for good cause. It's for good cause. And
sure.
I get reminded of that when I see all the people that send those messages, who say they're inspired, who, you know, feel better seen, that they see themselves when they're trying to shop, literally.
Okay. All right, man. We almost at the end. I want to get some closing thoughts though for you. Like, as far as your vision moving forward, what is your outlook on, you know, your career, and just how things are going? I know we touched on your consulting ventures. So
yes. I've been delving into creative direction, like actually.
Really?
Yeah.
That's dope. That's dope.
Yeah. I've been really blessed, lucky enough to have I've creative directed 2 shoots. One was with Hunger magazine.
Oh wow.
If we had scope, I would have had American plus size models there, but I was able to have 5 plus size males dressed in fully high fashion brands. They let me write a piece for the story, imprint, you know.
Wow.
It was a really big deal. First time it's ever happened. And there was so much press and publication, like, just on the story, which...
Congrats, bro.
But I'd love to now do it with brands, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's more of what I want to do. I think as much as it's not felt great to have to learn and literally source things for yourself in terms of work, I've gained some skills along the way. Like, I don't think I would have been able to say I could do creative direction if I didn't have to do all those things. So those were the blessings, like, hidden in, you know, a problem.
Definitely.
So yeah, pushing more, keeping myself in a good mental state, taking care of, you know, of hair before, you know, everything else. And yeah, I'm gonna push, you know, even harder. And like, you know, there's other projects I want to do, like just as James Corbin, the personality, because
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's what's up. Yeah, that's how I'm trying to treat myself.
Yeah,
I'm a brand. Yeah,
that's dope, man. Thank you for your time, man.
Thank you guys for
real. Appreciate you, bro.
Before you run off, what is your vision for exactly what you see yourself? I want to say, I know you're delving in different areas.
In the modeling. Okay, so I would love, and I don't even want to just talk for myself, I would love to see in New York Fashion Week, for example, all these brands having at least 1 or 2 by the next season, 1 or 2 plus size male, because there's women there, and I'm so happy that there is plus size male models, bigger clothes, because it can look so good, you know. And you see when there is these nuggets and moments, it goes viral. You know, it goes viral because it looks great, and people want to wear it. And specifically to America, and I feel it's so appropriate, like, I'm here, you know, some of the biggest sports players, and so they all fit the plus sizes, you know, big and tall measurements.
Man.
There is so many people to shop from these brands, because I hear a lot of the time the excuse is there's not enough customers. When we do put something out, there's not it's not promoted. You don't have models wearing it. They're not in the campaign. So how are people meant to know and know it looks good? How, or when you do go to a store, there's nothing on the rack. You know, that doesn't make sense. How can we order online? So there needs to be intention, but I think the vision is to walk those shows, to be part of those campaigns, to, you know, in New York, in London, in Paris, in Milan. That's the goal. Like, there's been nuggets, don't get me wrong. Like, Rick Owens had a plus size model walk, you know.
Oh, really?
Last season. And I was, you know, I was even optioned for that.
Yeah.
He was optioned for the, you know, it's a high fashion brand.
We had fun in Paris.
We were in Paris. Like, there's things happening, but then we gotta, like, there's still work to be done. But yeah, that's the vision. I know it's going to happen.
Gotcha.
And last thing, since we're talking about that and New York Fashion Week, what shows have you walked? Have you walked any?
No, what, since being here?
Just in general, have you walked anything at all?
So my first show that I walked was for Tommy Hilfiger, actually.
Oh wow, okay.
It was at the Fashion Awards over in the UK. They were celebrating how many years Tommy Hilfiger's been around, and that was really fun. I managed to walk alongside Winnie Harlow.
Yeah.
So yes.
Oh, I did see that. Winnie, that's
I think one of the moments for my career, I feel. And after that, I debuted in London Fashion Week in 2022 for a designer called SS Daily. Worked a lot of Harry Styles, and so.
Oh wow.
Really, really nice British designer. And then I walked to Christian Cohen.
Yeah.
In Paris, and he's a New York-based designer, but he's actually British. Actually.
Okay. That's Sam Smith's boyfriend or husband. That's super dope. You met Sam Smith, right?
Of course, yes. Yeah. So I first worked with Sam in their music video, and such a good energy, such a good spirit and force, and really supports those small plus size, you know, designers. Yeah. Like any designer that, you know, I've managed to work with, even the students that are at the fashion schools, I will push them because that's the future, you know.
Right.
And I really do see the future looking a lot more, you know, inclusive and naturally, you know, like when they want the clothes to look good. Sometimes I feel like people make things and they don't want it to look good, but when the clothes look good, and Sam will always pull from them and like shine a light on them, you know. And it's really, really good. And you know, even Sam, I believe, was involved in just having me for that Christian Cohen. Like Sam sent me that DM, was like, "We want you to walk."
That's dope.
Wow. It's crazy.
That's awesome.
Wow. So yeah, Christian Cohen as well. And who knows? We're in fashion season now, so let's see. And you know, I'd love to have some moments.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, thank you so much for your time, man. Mr. James Corbin.
Thank you for your time, man.
Thank you, brother.
Peace.